Good evening. Today I'll talk about the topic why the United States of America has attacked Iran. So here, this is a popular topic which is currently going on right now because of the war happening in the Strait of Hormuz between USA and Iran. So here, first we have to get to the introduction. Now the relationship between the United States and Iran has been tense for many years. In recent times, or let's say right now, this tension has increased and led to military attacks and counterattacks between the two countries. Now the situation is complex and is linked to politics, security, nuclear issues and regional power struggles in the Middle East. So here, the main reason is why the USA or the United States and Iran are tense. The relationship between the USA and Iran are tense right now. It's mainly linked to politics and security, nuclear issues, and also regional power of the region, Middle Eastern region. So here, for some background, the conflict between the USA and Iran did not start suddenly. It did not start. Just one thing happened and then it went to a full-on war. It has a long history. Now, the tension has actually risen gradually, not suddenly. So here, after the 1979 Iranian Revolution, relations between the two countries became very poor. Now, after the 1979 Iranian Revolution that happened in Iran and possibly also involved the USA, the relation between the two countries have become very poor ever since that. Since then, both sides have disagreed on many issues such as oil, political influence and military power in the Middle East. So they have disagreed on many points. For example, oil. Now the United States is one of the largest producers of oil, and so that's why they really want to control that area. And political influence, basically politics, and also military power in the Middle East, or what they control. So Iran has often supported groups in countries like Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen. The USA considers some of these groups as threats. Now here, because Iran often supports groups in countries like Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen, and that the United States hates. Now, if someone supports something that you hate, then you'll obviously hate them because they support the thing or person that you hate. So here, now that is basically the main point of this situation right now. Now here are the main reasons for the USA that is attacking on Iran. Number one is nuclear program concern. Now one of the biggest reasons is Iran's nuclear program. Yes, they're also starting to make nuclear weapons. The USA believes that Iran may try to develop nuclear weapons. The USA and its allies fear that this could be a serious threat to the world peace. Now here, Iran is already a threat, and in the Middle East, is also in the Strait of Hormuz right now. It's already a threat. But if Iran is trying to make a nuclear weapons, which is Iran now, the USA and its allies might fear because obviously they will have a nuclear war if they could. Now number two is regional security issues. Now security. The USA has military bases and allies in the Middle East. Now the USA obviously has allies in the Middle East, for example Israel. It believes that Iran's military activities and support for armed groups can create instability in the region. Because of USA supporting certain groups that Iran doesn't really support, this will obviously create tension between the two. So the USA takes action to reduce this influence. So they take action by compensating or negotiating in several offers. So that is security, basically military bases, troops. And number three, protection of allies. The USA supports countries like Israel and some Gulf nations. Now it's allied with Israel and some other Gulf nations. When tensions rise, the US often acts to protect its allies from possible attacks or threats. Now obviously, Iran and is an enemy of Israel, and an enemy is your friend. Yes, that's actually true. And so that's why the USA protects Israel if tensions rise in the Middle East, which it has happened many times. Now number 4 is oil and strategic importance. The Middle East is very important for global oil supply. Now here the Strait of Hormuz obviously supplies 1/3 of the world's oil production, and the USA wants to keep trade routes like the Strait of Hormuz safe. They want to keep it safe and also possibly gain control of it because they're one of the largest oil producers in the world, and they really want more. Now any conflict in this area can affect oil prices around the world, which is happening right now, obviously, because not many cargo ships can carry that much liquefied petroleum gas from the Strait of Hormuz as because of the war. And so because of that, oil prices may rise because of the low supply. And number 5 is political and strategic rivalry. Both countries want influence in the Middle East. This creates competition and sometimes leads to military actions, sanctions, and counterattacks. Now both of the countries want influence of the Middle East. Yes, both of them. Iran and wants influence in the Middle East, and so does the USA because they want oil. Now here this creates competition between the two, and sometimes even military might be involved. Now for the recent situation, in recent years the conflict has become more serious. There have been airstrikes, missile attacks, and naval tensions in the Gulf region. Now here the conflict has become very serious between the two right now happening. There have been airstrikes, missile attacks, and also naval tensions. Basically the military is getting involved here. Although there are talks for peace, although they are negotiating for peace, which is good, trust between both sides is really low. Now even though they are negotiating peace, the trust between the two is still very low. They do not have any trust with each other. Now the situation remains unstable and uncertain. There is still no result going on, and we cannot predict what's going to happen next. Now the effects of the conflicts are rise in oil prices, like I said, fear of war in the Middle East, which is happening right now, economic problems in affected countries. Now those countries which are affected, the economy might even go down because of the oil, a loss of peace and stability in the region. Obviously the war, if there's war, there's no peace, and global concern about future conflicts. Now this might strike other countries too, even unravel each other. Now the conclusion is that the USA-Iran conflict is not caused by a single reason, not because of the oil. It is a result of many political, military, and historical issues. It's not just one reason, it's many. Now both countries have different goals and interests, and they often intersect too, which might create problems, which leads to tension and sometimes attacks too, which is true because it's happening right now. Peace can only be achieved through dialogue, trust, and mutual understanding, which those two do not have that much. The world hopes that both nations will choose negotiation instead of war in the future. So the world obviously wants peace because obviously peace is good. There will be no effect at all in the world, and it will just be peace and quiet. There will be no casualties, nothing. It will be peace and quiet. And they obviously want that, but it's still uncertain. Alright, so that's all about the topic, why the USA or United States has attacked Iran. Alright, so that's all for this video. Bye.